It's Tuesday, the 30th of January, 2024. Welcome to the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, 5 stories to get through in 5 minutes. Let's get cracking with story number 1. Some of Australia's biggest dividend payers over the past year are also some of the worst performing in terms of share price growth, providing a bit of a warning, really, to investors.
Plenty of investors look for dividend yields. The banks are well known as decent payers of dividends. But if the value of a share, the share price, is falling, it's easy to lose any dividend gain by what's known as a capital loss. Now, based on market index data using dividends paid over the past 12 months and the current share price, coal companies Yancoal and New Hope, Myer Holdings and Cromwell Property Group paid big dividends, but their share prices have fallen somewhere between 10 and 46%. Most of the top dividend payouts are fully franked, meaning taxpayers can claim a credit. Good news. Not all of them. Keep an eye on that one. There are some stocks that have paid out high dividends and experienced capital growth. Liberty Financial is one, so too Dalrymple Bay Infrastructure. But those dividends aren't fully franked. So if you're looking for larger, less volatile companies with growth and income, then refiners, Ampol and Viva Energy are the standouts over the past year, as is Super Retail Group and Fortescue. And of course, they all have 100% franking.
So I suppose, Sean, the moral of this tale is when investing, don't just rely on dividends or on capital growth for that matter.
That's right. The data from 2023 shows that paying out large dividends mostly doesn't equate to a strong performance by a company. Bit of a chicken and egg thing here. Falling share price makes the dividend yield look better. But when investing, people need the whole story: dividends, growth, and franking. Always get professional financial advice. We always say that, and you should do that. And certainly what happened last year has little influence on what will happen this year, but it is certainly a cautionary tale for investors.
Yeah, certainly is. Story number 2, Sean. The cost of sending a child to daytime childcare fell by an average of 11% after larger subsidies took effect last July, but the relief might be short-lived.
A year-long inquiry by the competition watchdog released yesterday found that historically when subsidies increase, out-of-pocket expenses decline initially, good news, but then they tend to revert to higher levels. Fee increases erode some of the intended benefit for households over time. The report found that most childcare businesses do not appear to be making excessive profits, and the government's reforms have reduced out-of-pocket expenses across the board. After school hours care is down nearly 9%, in-home care 12%, family daycare 14%. The final report made 8 recommendations, including the idea that the government has a market steward to oversee and monitor outcomes in childcare markets.
Story number 3, Suncorp has warned of a jump in home insurance claims and higher costs of settling older car insurance claims.
Insurance is very weather dependent, and Suncorp said the wild weather since last November has largely eroded the better weather earlier in the financial year. It's eroded the financial gain from that. That's led to a jump in home insurance claims. Its net damage bill from natural hazards in the 6 months to the end of last year was $568 million, including $212 million from the East Coast storms last month. Cyclone Jasper, striking North Queensland, will cost Suncorp about $56 million. Interestingly, the higher car claims come from prior years. It's taking a long time to get your car fixed. As a result, the bills from previous years are only flowing through now, and that's hitting Suncorp.
Story number 4, big story internationally, Sean. Chinese property giant Evergrande will go into liquidation, throwing the all-important real estate sector in China into turmoil.
China's nationwide property debt crisis has claimed its biggest victim, and now the group will have to be carved up and sold off. The company has about $500 billion in liabilities after failing to agree with creditors after years of negotiation. The Evergrande issue has been a big part of the China slowdown story. Evergrande, as well as other developers, overbuilt and overpromised, taking money for apartments that had not been finished and leaving hundreds of thousands of home buyers waiting on their units. Dozens of these companies have defaulted, leaving the government frantically trying to force them to finish the apartments, putting contractors and builders in a tough spot because they haven't been paid for years. Fallout from this, Michael, will be huge.
Okay, last one, Sean. Story number 5. Yesterday, we talked about how well Microsoft is doing. Now, another of the big 7 tech titans on Wall Street, Tesla, isn't having quite as good a time of it.
So far this month, Tesla's share price has tumbled 26%, wiping about $200 billion off the valuation of the EV company. That's more than the whole value of BHP. Don't feel too bad for Elon Musk, though, because Tesla's share price is still up about 60% since early January last year, but it's now dropped for 6 weeks in a row, the longest streak since 2016. Two main reasons is that the market for EVs is soft, as demonstrated by Hertz's decision to sell part of its EV fleet, and Tesla's been cutting prices. That ain't good for profits, Michael.
No, it certainly isn't. All right, there we go. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Tuesday, the 30th of January, 2024. Remember to hit follow on the podcast. And if 5 minutes isn't enough, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed Business News wherever you listen to podcasts. And that one comes with a bunch of interviews and things as well. Today's interview basically answers every question you might have ever had about oil and the oil industry. It is really interesting listening. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.